what was your casting process for the show and then casting as a younger version of her? What was that like?
But the table read was huge because I was like, okay, like, we've had 10 minutes of dialect coaching, just a few words. And now we're sitting at the table in front of all the Netflix executives. And I'm like, are we doing the accent? Like, I didn't know. So I asked Brianne, and then she kind of went for it.
What do you do now to kind of nurture and take care of your mental health, especially with like being in the spotlight?
Yeah, a lot of, I recently deleted.
Welcome back to the Blond Highlights Podcast.
We have, again, another special guest. We are so excited to have her here with us today. She is playing the younger version of Georgia Miller on Ginny and Georgia. We have with us today Nikki Roumel. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
We are so excited to have you here. It is so cool to be sitting with you. We just finished watching actually the third season, which was amazing. So it's so cool to be connected with you. So thank you so much for taking the time today.
Of course. Thanks for making the time. I know you guys have been so busy.
Yeah, we've been very busy.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've been like sailing. We wrapped season 3.
Yeah, you're like, I'm good.
I'm good. So yeah, no, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. I can just tell that you're like the sweetest person ever, just from the few minutes of interaction.
Yes.
So glad.
How is your week going? How is everything going? We hear it's really hot. You're in Toronto right now.
Too hot.
Yeah.
I prefer much cooler than it is right now. But we're surviving.
Yeah. Do you have, so here on the Blonde Highlights, we like to go over our highlight and our low light of the week. Do you have a weekly highlight or a low light?
It's just made it official.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my highlight was going to the beach. It was really warm and I was not feeling the greatest mentally, and I got myself out of the house. I did opposite action and I did it. And my low light was I'm on a new medication right now, and this is like trial number 13. It's all trial and error, and some of the side effects are not the nicest and also not the most flattering. That's probably my low light.
Oh
no.
We've been there. I have, oh my gosh, I have been on a medication journey. I went on 2 years ago. I was taken off of medication for my panic attacks and anxiety. Like I was on it for 10 years and the psychiatrist took me off in 1 week and they put me on this other thing. So I understand that feeling of just like, sometimes the side effects, I'm like, one of the medications they put me on, they were like, you need to be careful because you could randomly fall. And I was like, what? Like, oh, no. I was like, I'm not going on this anymore.
Yeah, I know. Some of them are a little funny and like you kind of embrace them, but some are a little embarrassing. So it's a low light. It's a low light for my self-esteem, but a highlight for my future.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
It's a temporary low light.
Exactly.
My highlight is so my friend, she's a police officer in York region, which by the way, we're both Canadians, right? Like, were you born and raised in Canada? You're from, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's electronic. Well, yeah.
Yeah. So she's from York region. So she does policing in that area. And when she calls me, it's always when she's at work, it's a private number. But every time I see a private number, I answer it and I'm like, what's up, bitch? Or I'll just be like, whatever, And this time when the private number called and I picked up, it was my doctor. And I was like, it was the doctor's office. And I was like, I didn't say, hey, bitch, thank God. But I was like, hey, girl, what's up? And they were like, is this Christina? And I was like, oh my God. I was like, who is this?
Okay, yeah.
So a highlight for me because it made me, it actually made me laugh after, and then it made me call my friend and tell her. My low light is I had to extend my trip, and actually stay a little bit longer out here in LA. And after I got my flight, I realized I didn't get a confirmation email. So yesterday I called and I'm like, hey, can't find it, whatever. They're like, oh no, your trip is booked for, and it's like 2 months out from now. And I'm like, no, like I need to be getting home like this week. So yeah, I still don't have a flight home. So that's my low light, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My highlight is this hasn't happened like this week, but I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast. But I am now officially an aunt to 8.
Ooh. Oh my
yes,
God.
my
Wow.
sister had her baby finally. And
So exciting.
I know. I'm like, I am not mature enough to be an aunt of 8. I feel like
What did she have?
a little boy.
Yes.
Yes.
Baby, did you make a blanket?
I did, yeah. I crochet baby blankets for all of the kids.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you are mature enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if 8,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
8 is a lot.
Yeah.
A lot to keep track of, but
Yeah. Yeah. My low light is, and this is so random, but I'm just going to say Fairfax Avenue for those in LA, because I don't know what's happening with the asphalt, but it is like you about get a concussion trying to drive down the road.
Oh my God.
It's like bumping. The car charger to my phone, literally like a wire or something got bit on it from like hitting one of the bumps so hard, and it like disconnected.
I hate that when I'm like in a car, especially if I'm a passenger and my head just like hitting the back of the chair. I'm just like getting a concussion every 2 seconds.
Mhm. Are you talking about me?
Yes, I'm talking about driving with you. So let's get into some of the questions that we have for you. I feel like we have like a journey of questions to go through. Starting with, how did you get into acting? How did your acting career start?
so it was kind of funny because I remember distinctly telling my parents I wanted to get into acting when I was like probably 11 years old. I was so shy. Like I had my shoulders to my ears and like, but it was because my cousin, who was my older cousin, who I like idolized, and I wanted to be exactly like her, like that annoying little cousin that was, doing we all go through that phase.
Yeah.
We have that time period. And she was getting into acting classes, and I decided I wanted to hang out with her more, so I joined, and then from there she was like, no, not for me, and it kind of stuck for me.
Okay.
I didn't want to do anything else. Yeah.
That's kind of cool. You're like, I'm just going to come along for the ride, and like has a full-on career
Yeah,
now
if I
from
did.
it.
Yeah, I don't know where I'd be, but
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm here.
One thing that I noticed kind of like going through like your IMDb and like other stuff is that you have done a lot of projects that were like paranormal related.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any like real life paranormal experiences that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, so I did this show Ghosting, which is all true. It's not, none of it's scripted at all. So
Mhm.
and basically they flew me down to Nova Scotia, so this place called Lunenburg Academy, and it was like the gallows before, and now it's a school, and there's like a graveyard around the school.
Mm,
It's and I love creepy. Like I do
yeah.
love that kind of stuff. But yeah, there was like 3 different locations we went to, and the third one I was like handcuffed in the basement, and there was a face like in the window of
Saw
the
it.
thing that everyone noticed, and even like I was left alone, but they had cameras on me, and the crew was like, "Oh, okay, that's not safe. Like we're worried. Like we need to come back in." I don't know what it is with me, but I don't feel fear very well. So I was very calm. Like, I'm not phased. Yeah, but I would love to have more experiences with them. I think I don't know, you can make friends with them. Maybe.
Yeah. I don't know.
Probably not. Bad episode, but yeah, it was a ton of fun and very spooky, which I love.
Yeah. No, I saw that and I was like, this is amazing. We love a good paranormal story.
Kyle loves ghosts.
Yeah. Especially this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
No. But yeah, we always ask about it because like I mean I had a situation where I lived in like a haunted apartment, but I am from Ohio, which is just across the lake from you guys over there.
Yeah.
And then just like in
Not
the
too far.
yeah, and in like the old parts of the country, like that stuff's way more normal. We're out here, like if something's 100 years old, it's ancient.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened when all like the crew came in and everything? Like when so did the crew see the face first, or did they, and then they just came in and freaked out?
Well, they saw it and they told me. They were like look on the like to the window, do you see anything? And I looked a little far back and I didn't see anything at the time. And then they showed me right away. They were like, look what we found. And I was like, 'cause I was like, oh, maybe they're just joking. I thought they were joking originally. Like I thought one of the crew members had gone outside and like looked in the window. That was not the case whatsoever.
Oh.
There's apparently there's been sightings, like numerous sightings from 3 different ghosts there, because it was a lot of people were executed there at the time. And because of the graveyards too, a lot of people were buried around. So yeah, so there has been a lot of experiences, and they decided to go there, and I was like, I'm all for it. I love the paranormal stuff. I think it's so fascinating. But that was as close as I got, and I think I would say it was haunted for sure.
Yeah.
I would say the location was. Yeah.
Now, getting into your Ginny and Georgia, how was the casting process like? Because it is crazy how much you and Brianna Howie are like identical twins in a way, even your mannerisms, everything. What was that like, your casting process for the show, and then casting as a younger version of her? What was that like?
Absolutely. It's so funny because originally, actually, I was looking back on it the other day because I got a memory. So it started back in 2019 was when everything, it's been 6 years now, which is insane. I did that math really quick and I'm so proud of myself.
Wow. That was impressive.
It was very quick. But yeah, I remember getting a breakdown from my agent, so an audition, and it said Mary Atkins / young Georgia Miller. And it was like a teenage runaway who joins a motorcycle gang and gets revenge. And I was like, yeah, no, not me. No, I think I spent the longest I've ever spent on a set was 2 days by that time.
Okay.
So it's not a lot of experience. And I went in, and it was in person at the time. And I remember I said this, it was just one scene, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then they're like, oh, you missed one word. And they never do that. If you don't have to be word perfect. Usually I am, but one word, and I later found out that it was because they just wanted a perfect, clean take, because I look so much like her, and they liked me for the role. They were like, I think she's the one.
Okay.
We do look a lot alike, and I think, then a week later, I was at the table read. I got cast, and it was within 2 weeks we were filming.
Wow.
And yeah, it was an interesting, beautiful experience, but it was definitely not what I expected. It's been great.
That is so cool. I've always wondered how that happens, and just hearing different casting processes. And because I always think that if they're casting for something, it would be okay for next year or something. So the fact that it was 2 weeks later that must have been a whirlwind.
Totally. It was completely, and I didn't know how many episodes I was doing either. So I figured I'm going to be in season 1. We'll see how season 1 goes. I'll probably be on 2 episodes, maybe 3 if I'm lucky. And then it ended up being 9 or 10 of that season. And then, yeah, so it was continuous. I'm still to this day, 6 years later, playing the character, playing the younger version. Yeah.
Yeah. As in entertainment, things happen so fast sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sure Brianne and Antonia, they had they've had way longer process. More auditions and more thorough and everything like that.
Yeah. And being Canadian, how hard was it to get a Southern accent together?
Yeah, that was fun. I was so excited when I saw that. It was funny because we had a dialect coach, I think, for the first day.
Okay.
So I've only met with a dialect coach maybe for 30 minutes total.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
And then it was winging it and research. Kyle and I, who plays young Zion, so we were the first scene to shoot of the entire show, I guess, like one of our scenes. So it wasn't like I had a chance to watch Brienne on set or anything, or like, but I did. The table read was huge because I was like, okay, like, we've had 10 minutes of dialect coaching, just a few words. And now we're sitting at the table in front of all the Netflix executives, and they can change their actors around. They have many times before. And I'm like, are we doing the accent? Like I didn't know, so I asked Brienne, and then she kind of went for it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna mimic her. And it's a lot of mimicking too, which I was always that was always kind of my forte, something that just kind of clicked with me, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you did your audition, then you just spoke in your regular Canadian accent then? You didn't have to do the Southern accent? Okay.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about the Southern accent, so it was actually a surprise when I got cast. It was to dye my hair even more blonde, to like bleach it a lot, and that was two agreements.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you never had the chance, like they didn't have you like do like some sort of like sync up or like watch Brianna, like you just kind of just did your own
No,
thing and
no.
okay, cool.
Yeah, so I mean it was funny because Sarah Lambert, who's like the creator, and she's brilliant. She's so great. And she was saying we probably should have, but it just kind of worked out. Like it worked well, and there was so much of an age difference and like difference in the characters from the start.
Yeah.
And I watched everything she was in. Like everything Brienne did, I watched. Like every TV program, like show. She did a great show called The Passage. It was just like The Exorcist. So even like her student films that she did, she would probably find it very strange that I was able to find them, but I did, and I watched them.
We love that. We love journalism.
And interviews, right? We were talking about being like super like prepared. Yeah, but I found a lot of it just came from instinct, really.
That is so cool. No, it's like as a viewer's perspective, just and like even though there is that contrast in age and everything, you are just so similar to her that it's like they must have had to do some sort of training on this. So that's so cool that it's just kind of like a natural thing. You did some research, like it's spot on.
I'm glad. Yeah. I think like it's always funny because I'll always find people pointing out like, oh, but they don't have this. That's the same. I'm like, I know we're not actually the same person. Like we are different people. So it's always, but it's like I find it in like a lighthearted way because it's people who are excited to point out something that's different. And I'm like, yeah, it's funny. Some angles I'm like, oh no, like I feel like my face sometimes. I don't know if it's from derealization in the past, but like I sometimes I don't see it or I see my like face in different angles, and then sometimes I'm like, I thought that was me, like that she posted. Which I mean, I'm like so grateful. I'm like, oh wow, like, that's a confidence boost I needed. Like,
and was it hard to play the role of like an abused woman and like act out those scenes?
that's such a good question. Yes, because of the responsibility of it. I think it's so important to do it justice in an authentic way with a lot of care. I honestly found the hardest part of playing young Georgia was her confidence, even if it's like a mask for a lot of it. I found that was harder than the vulnerability. So it was taxing in a lot of ways because I learned a lot from 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I was pulling a lot from my own personal trauma and things I could relate to because I was like, oh, great. They always say relate to the character, make it human, and bring yourself to it and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can pull from stuff, I have stuff to pull from. And then I started realizing like it's so much, you don't have to pull from trauma. You can pull from, and you can relate to a character by feeling like just even like sad or happy. Like we've all felt sad, we've all felt happy, we've all felt angry, we've all felt like the core emotions. So pulling from that and using your imagination more. But that was probably the hardest part, was that and the pressure to do the story justice and survivors in general.
Yeah. Did you have any way to like decompress after like filming those kind of like traumatic scenes?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I find acting is my way to decompress in a way. Like even though from those scenes it was like it still felt so therapeutic because in a film set, I mean, it's I have terrible social anxiety. It's very scary,
Mm-hmm.
with lots of people and stuff, but it's a safer way to feel. Like it's almost like it's a safer, contained way. Yeah, you're feeling in front of people, but it's like I have my mask. Like Georgia, I always say wears her mask, and it's said in the show a lot too.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like that. So, but I mean, definitely scenes where it was really emotional or really like a lot of crying. I was lucky because I worked with toddlers at the time. They're like 8 years old now,
Yeah.
twins. So it was in between scenes, we were keeping it so lighthearted because these are little babies and they're happy to be there. Like they want to be there.
They want to be there.
Yeah.
They do. They do. Their parents are amazing, so loving and supportive. Like, you don't have to if you don't. No, no, I want to. Like fighting over who gets to be on set. And the best, so talented. All of them, all the kids I got to work with. But that was kind of a way to decompress too, honestly, was yeah,
Just
keeping up with
being,
them, trying to go seek in between and keeping it lighthearted because I think my co-stars matter, especially when they're so vulnerable. They're
Mhm.
how they feel matter more than like you can push aside the character for a little bit or we're an actor, it's our job. We don't need to do method. We can look after the kids if you can,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Aw, that is so cute. Do you feel like you've just like really, you must like just grown with these little toddlers?
Oh,
What's that been like?
Deanna and Tiara, they're angels. Like they're these like acrobats now. They're dancing. I went to their dance recital
Aw.
last year. They were yeah, they're like 8 years old now, and it was like before they were barely talking and seeing them grow. And then Camilla and Leo, who I got to work with this season, have been amazing. Getting to have so much like so much content with them too, and scenes and reacting off of them and with them. And yeah, I've felt so fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been like a little family, like our little flashback family. And the
Aw.
present day family too has
Yeah.
welcomed us in such a beautiful, like really, really inclusive, kind way. I did not think I would be
Yeah.
getting included in a like I just reason like, it's a lot of effort to
Yeah.
yeah, but no.
And it's also
Yeah.
scary thinking like, oh, what's the cast going to be like and all of this. And you don't really, I guess like for me, especially with like my own like social anxieties and stuff, I don't always expect people to be kind. It's not that I expect anyone to be mean or anything, but sometimes like
Yeah.
when a situation like that happens, it's like, oh, this is so nice and they're so welcoming and it's nice. So that's cool that the present day cast has a lot of connection then with the I guess the past day cast.
Yeah, with our past.
Yeah. So we know Georgia Miller is such like a complex character and how you said she wears her mask and all of that. Was there one part of Georgia or a few parts of Georgia that you're like you feel truly connected to?
Her vulnerability for sure. I know I kind of touched on it by saying about how I don't relate to her confidence as much. Um, but I do relate to her vulnerability, and I think there's such beauty in it, and she doesn't show it very often in the present, and I got to explore it a little more in the past, which has been I'm so grateful for. Um, that and I think I like to think I'm strong. Oh, gross. It feels gross saying anything. I'm taking self-compassion classes, so I'm working on it. So I'm going to be able to say that with confidence. I'm
Yeah.
going to pretend I said it with confidence.
You said
But
it
yeah,
with a lot of confidence.
thank you, you believed me, right? But yeah, so that's definitely. I think I have strength in a lot of ways and loyalty. She's loyal to a fault when it comes to the people in her inner circle. She has a very small circle and she keeps it tight and she allows other people to feel like they're in. But I do think I am loyal probably to a fault. If anything.
Yeah. There was a person that Georgia reminds me of so much.
Mm.
And I always have so much respect for her because she's strong. She's been through a lot. And it was just her and her daughter against the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just putting that together.
Yeah.
I love hearing about that. So many mothers have come out and said like, oh, I relate to Georgia, like it's me and my daughter, it's me and my son, or it's being a single parent or a parent, like with all these obstacles in the way, and just it's so beautiful to hear these stories.
Yeah. And just on a personal level, like Netflix, the show has been so popular on Netflix. How has that affected your life?
Yeah. A lot less privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a great way, in some sense. Don't get me wrong. It's great. Um, and I'm very grateful. Sometimes like it's weird because I'm like when I'll be like getting a text or something that like, oh, you're on TikTok and it's you on the subway or something, and I'm just standing there like totally out of it. And I'm like, well, I don't understand. Like I still can't comprehend. Like I'm like, I'm a flashback actor. Why would, that if I don't want someone want to be filming me randomly? But it's a lot more yeah, kind of fear around that kind of situation. It's been great way to connect and meet with people. I've also had more opportunities in the industry. It's really hard to break your foot, like break your foot. No, so sorry.
No,
That's not how you
no.
say it. How to get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
It's very hard to get your foot in the door, and it's a really tough industry. And I found Ginny and Georgia was definitely my more than it was my like 2 feet, 2 legs, my whole body in the door. Like it was yeah, so it helped open the doors to being taken a little more seriously in the industry and audition wise and stuff. And it's a process. I know lots of people are going through it and trying to break in, and it's
Yeah. Well, I think too, like how you said, like you're like a flashback character, like, yes, but your character plays such a key role, and your flashback character is there's so much complexity to even that flashback character, and there's so many
yeah.
scenes that as an actor it's like it would be so easy for a producer or a director, or I don't know who's doing all like the bookings or anything, but to respect that because you're not just having like a flashback moment, like you are an essential role to the whole entire show, like you are like a key element. So I think even just your acting skills and everything, like you've done that, like you've put yourself as like I'm flashback character, but like I'm on the map and like I'm a key component. So you've done a fantastic job at that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's been kind of mind-blowing that way too, because it's something I really didn't expect. And that also comes with it is like a lot of comparisons too with Brienne. So it's a like it's so beautiful, and it can be so scary as well, especially like not being like I have thick skin, but and it's a process to be. I'm also human, so
Yes.
that's important.
Yeah. Human first.
Yes, human first always.
Well, this season 3, has covered so much. We had teen pregnancy, abortion, so much of an insight to mental illness on, I think, different ranges, addiction, like so much. Why do you think it's so important for these types of scenes and these types of characters and the development and their journey to be on TV?
I think it's so crucial. I mean, you can say it like I know it's cheesy, but like to tell people they're not alone in a way. And I always say someone saying you're not alone is the most beautiful and brutal thing you can hear, because first of all, like it's beautiful because it's isolating. Obviously, being alone is isolating and scary and confusing. And it's brutal in the sense that I mean, I think majority of people in the world have at least some sort of empathy, and they don't want all we know is our own worst pain. Like we don't know anyone else's pain. We just know our worst, and it's not a good feeling. Obviously, it's uncomfortable or painful or hurtful, and we don't really want anyone else to feel that. And I think there is a comfort because we have to radically accept that we can't change that. That is like people are going to feel not okay, and they are going to relate. And so showing it on TV and seeing like glimpses of it from your favorite characters and being like, wait, I relate to that character and I really like that character. Like maybe, I'm okay. Like I'm not okay, but like I'm human. I have definitely not okay always. But yeah, it adds that, and it also kind of shows people different scenarios and things. And I think it's done on Ginny and Georgia in such a delicate way that, like, I mean, I can relate to a lot of the topics, and I personally didn't find it very triggering. I know I might be biased, but I just, they really, really did their homework. And it was just laid in ways that you can, just see that you're not alone and feel the comfort in that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the world is a very scary place. And any comfort you can get is really nice. That's why I'm so comfy here. That's why I was saying earlier. It's so comfortable in podcasts. Yeah, you both are so amazing.
And that was one of the reasons we were so excited to have you on, is because on social media, you've been so open about talking about mental health. And what inspired you to be so open about that journey?
Yeah, so it all started because I didn't really have a choice at the time. It was before Netflix, before the show came out and everything like that, and I needed treatment that would save my life. It was during COVID, and there's a very poor funding, public funding for mental health resources, as I'm sure many people are aware.
Mm-hmm.
So family members did a GoFundMe, and then our local newspaper, who's so supportive and so loving, put it out and mentioned that, oh, and she's also in acting, and and people started to kind of catch on to that. That was terrifying, and I spent 3 months in treatment, and it was the scariest and helpful and important 3 months of my life. And I realized I had a comment about it, just saying that it helps someone. Like, it helps someone to know, someone locally, that you could still do something like that you dream of. And then from there, my Mental Health Monday post, check-ins and stuff, I realized how many people don't have a safe place to just be like, I'm feeling bad. I'm not feeling okay, and how many resources I have, and I'm still not doing well, and how many people and how lucky I am. And I mean, it wasn't even like, oh, I have to do this. It was, I want to. I want to be as safe as possible for someone, even if it's just one person. That matters, and I can do it. So I'm going to. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I think your Mental Health Mondays, from what I see, and I replied to one last night, and I was honest, where I was just like, you know what, I'm feeling happy, but like I'm actually exhausted. And what was so funny about actually replying to that is that at first I was going to be like, I'm great and I'm so excited for tomorrow. But there was that level of comfort for, I guess maybe it's just like the energy you have, or like just like the power behind what you're doing. But I was like, no, I can actually feel like I can tell her what I'm actually feeling. And like, for me, it's like we've spoke about it before on the podcast, that it's hard for me sometimes to admit when I'm exhausted. So I just felt really comfortable just to be like, I'm happy, but I'm exhausted. So I think there's yeah. So I think it's fantastic what you're doing. And I think especially like playing this role, and there's got to be so many people obviously that are watching, and to know that someone that is at the status that you are, and like being this fantastic actress who's also battling and struggling, I think that really just puts I guess a relation to what someone is going for, and an inspiration to see like, okay, she's going through it too. Like this, I'm not alone. So I think it's really special what you're doing.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. Sometimes I'm always like, oh, is it the right thing to do? Because of course I'm sure most people, or like a bunch of people, don't really care to see it, or it's not for them then. Well, it's for everyone. Wants it, who needs it. I think we all need to sometimes check in with ourselves, and sometimes like I think it's so important to have a safe space, and I've been learning so much about, we're not always you can respond there with however you're feeling, and I don't think I can judge in my body. Like it's just a safe place to communicate with how you're feeling. And if you need to get whatever you need out, and so you can be in wise mind and approach a situation, or like talk to someone, have a conversation, and it have an extra layer and an extra step before exploding or, doing what you need to do. It's always, yeah, it's always just a chill place.
Yeah.
And I usually find like quotes. I try to find cute ones. Sometimes it's like at midnight. I'm like, oh no, but everyone's very forgiving. They're
Yeah.
thankful.
And there's always going to be people that's like, don't talk about that. But, and I know just from, my perspective as a child, I was a kid that I battled depression a lot as a little kid. And I had a lot going on. And I felt so alone because I was getting drug around to these like psychiatrists and these different doctors and all of this stuff. And it really, because I didn't know that a lot of people went through this. I didn't know that was, I thought I was the only person. And so I just felt like such an outcast, you know what I mean? And I felt like, there was something just wrong with me. But then you grow up a little bit and you learn and you hear other people's stories and you're like, so many people are going through this. And, if you start to get that in your mind that something's wrong with you, it beats at your self-confidence. It, makes you less likely to stand up for yourself or other things. So
Seek help.
I think it's so important to talk about things so that people know they're not alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's so important. It's crucial. And if you can, like if you feel safe enough to do so, and I'm lucky I feel safe enough to do so.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to have a mental health page. It was called F the Stigma, and I ran it with my my ex-boyfriend, and he battled a lot with his depression, and sadly he's no longer here, but we did that page to kind of start setting that tone, and I really learned how much people do struggle. And I was getting because I'm a model, so we had different models coming in and they were checking in and they were posting, and it was so, because I've struggled with my mental health for years. And so it was really inspiring to see all these people coming through. But unfortunately, we just stopped the page when things happened. But so I'm just really happy that there's someone out here doing the work. That's fantastic that you're creating a safe space for people.
Thank you. And I mean, this is a safe space, and it feels like, the podcast, and it connects with a lot of people. So there's so many different ways to do it. And I think it's so beautifully done here too.
Thank
And even
you.
letting me like join and hop on and be part. So thank you.
Yeah.
Aw. Like, what do you do now to kind of nurture and take care of your mental health, especially with like being in the spotlight?
Yeah, a lot of I recently deleted TikTok. I don't know why I had it in the first place. I got stuck on mental health stigma stuff from something I have that people aren't very nice about. And sad animal videos where they're like, please donate, and and then I was like, oh yeah, like but all these like really heartbreaking videos. I just want the cute animal videos. And then there was a lot of negative comments on my looks because of comparisons with Brienne a lot of the time. In a great, like just saying, oh, she's so much prettier and she's so much this, and I'm like, okay, but we're two different people, so we don't need to like
That's not fair.
things. Yeah, and it's okay. Like it's, I know you kind of sign up for some of the not so great things when you do sign up in an industry that's so beautiful. And however, yeah, I deleted that. That's helped a lot. It helps me feel better just to like kind of avoid that. And most people are so kind. The majority are so nice, but of course, human in our brains. And laying on the ground. I love to lay on the ground. So I'll go hiking or I'll go barefoot a lot of the time, and I'll just or go on the swings at the park. I like kind of reconnecting with like being a kid, and my mom always took me when I was struggling. We'd have lunch together. We'd in high school. So I always associate that with something super happy and warm, and yeah.
Yeah, I noticed that on your Instagram. I was like, she loves nature.
I do. Yeah, it's very, I mean, they say nature's healing. I don't know the scientific stuff behind that. But I mean, it definitely feels very very grounding, and it's a way I find like peace.
Yeah, I love that. I was going through there and I was like so impressed by all the nature stuff. And that's what me and Kris were just having a conversation last week, because even though I live in the middle of Los Angeles, I have a community garden plot. And my community garden plot is in a 4-acre park that's like gated off. And And I think you had said to me, and other people ask me this too, they're like, you're so busy. How are you so committed to this garden? Because I'm growing fruits and vegetables and flowers and everything. And I said, you know what? I can come in here in the worst mood. I can come here stressed, so much anxiety. I can come here in a panic attack. By the time I leave, smiles on my face. I am so happy. Like, it really is so healing.
I love that. A community garden plot. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
you
it's
should
so
see it.
true, right?
It's beautiful. It's like I went through and I was sending, because my mom loves gardening. I was sending her videos and she's just like, I want to come to LA just to be in that garden. It's so beautiful because everybody has their own individual plots and you can see just like everybody's personalities in it. And it's really cool.
Wow. I want to see pictures.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
What's something that you wish that people understood about mental health, especially in teens?
Yeah, I think the whole like you're not alone, and like I think also that it's not, I know there's a lot of stigma on it,
Yeah.
which makes it hard to feel safe enough to ask for help, but it is so crucial and it is so important to look out for yourself and kind of push away what other people think. I think that's really important. And it's important to be talked about and have that conversation, an open conversation, and to look out for each other and know that we're probably teenage years especially are like the hardest of our entire lives. I feel like you're still finding yourself, your identity, and you're trying to go through life in just survival mode a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That it's not, and that your like struggles are valid too. I think a lot of people should on themselves, which I love that I'm saying don't should on yourself. So like thinking like I shouldn't be sad, or I should be further along in my career, or I should do this and I should do that. I wish a lot of people knew that that just increases your suffering and does not help and would probably actually have a harder time with your self-esteem. So
I've never heard that term before. Don't
Uh,
should on yourself. I really
on
like,
yourself.
I
Hey.
really like that.
Oh.
Don't should. I should do this or I should be doing this. And you know what? That's even something that's like good for day to day when like that hustle culture and the productivity, like you're not successful if you're not busy. Cause I know myself sometimes I'm like, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And then it like spirals me into an anxiety. So I really like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're sitting down and you can't do laundry right now, or there's already a load in the laundry, and you're like, oh, I should be getting the other one. I should be. And I'm like, well, what does that do? You can't. You can't. So you have to
Mhm.
accept that you can't right now, or you're not at a place to. And like, or like, I should be further in my career. I can't make myself, I can just improve, like work on improving, but I can't take jobs and be like, oh, have control over that. So it's letting go of things you can't control. I think as teenagers, that is so important.
Mm-hmm.
That's great advice.
Yeah, I know. As you were saying that, I was doing a should in my head at the moment,
Yeah.
at the time.
It's so hard to like pass yourself all the time. Yeah. Yeah, but not in a therapy group. And every time someone would say should, it was like, nope, 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 nope. Don't say should.
I like that.
Yeah, exactly. And if you could speak directly to like any fan that is going through anything like that, what would you want them to hear from you directly?
Yeah, I think that I'd want them to hear that I promise someone somewhere out there, probably way closer than you know or think, does care. Not only can relate, but they do care. Um, I always feel like in my body, I just care. Like I do. Like, when anyone talks to me, I mean, I think it's not uncommon. Like everyone has empathy for the most part. I hope, majority. Um, and so if I'm just one person across the world, a stranger, and I care, I promise there's a lot of people closer that do and that wants to help you. And you don't, there can be, as long as you have hope, like find hope every day. Like you were saying about your garden,
Mhm.
like just something little that makes you smile when you're not feeling good. And like find something little, and hope doesn't have to be like a huge thing where you have to be like, oh, like a hopes and dreams. It can be something so small, like that just keeps you going. Just ride the wave. Just a big
Yeah.
one.
I know. I always tell myself, and this is one way I've coped with stuff is when something happens, yes, have your emotions, feel the feelings about it. That's normal. But at some point, you have to say, can I change this right now?
Yeah.
And if there's nothing you can do at that moment, you have to just, try to move on from it. Cause, there's no sense of having so much anxiety over something that's like, you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, I'll allow myself a time to feel the emotions. And then I'm like, is there something I can do to change this or make this better in this moment? And if the answer is no, I have to try to move on.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that.
Mm-hmm. I love your point of someone close to you does care, because I think it's so easy when we're going through something, especially like for me. I know that when I've struggled in my darkest times, I always feel like I'm a burden. And so I don't want to bring I don't want to say problems, but I don't want to be a burden on someone. So I know that I've had times where I'm suffering alone because I'm like, I don't want to do that, or like, I don't, they're not going to care. Like they're so busy or stuff like that. So I think that that's a really great point, because you're right. Like someone around them will care, and they're going to care more for you, and you're not going to be a burden to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so true. And it's a scary feeling too, especially if you've been hurt by another human being too. And it's like having like a trust or thinking like, oh, if, that kind of person or a stranger or like whatever, or someone close to me could do that. But there are good people too. I think there are people who are safe, and it may take a little bit to find it and find your circle, but there is a circle. There's always a circle for everyone.
Aww.
To kind of close this out with some of these questions, but whose storyline are you most excited about next season for Ginny and Georgia?
I love this question because it always getting to explore it. I'd say Marcus or Maxine.
Okay.
I think the Baker twins just have a whole story. Of course, the leads, of course, Ginny and Georgia. I want to see what's happening. I want to know the twists and turns, and I'm like eagerly, impatiently waiting. But I'd love to see where the twins go, and if they can repair a lot of the hurt between each other, like with each other, and mend their relationship. And I hope they see some happiness, some joy. I hope all the characters do.
Yeah.
Also Abby, because I just think she's the coolest, and Katie's the coolest, and it's always fun to know.
As soon as you said Marcus, I got really excited, because like teenage me would be so in love with Marcus. Like I feel so bad saying that, because I'm like, that is exactly what, like I would have loved Marcus. I'm too old to be saying that now, but we know what I mean. But I think his story is just, he's such a special character. And I think that he's just the way that he handles things. He's so sweet and just trying to do right by everyone, but is just so lost. And now he's off, hopefully on a healing journey. And I just really hope that his character can turn around, and I just love him. I'm like, teenage girls me like, I love you.
He's like, he's so cool, Felix, like as a human being, like as a person, as a character, like how he plays the character, how he plays the role. But like he's so like just he has this very like calm confidence, it seems like, or where he's just like, I don't know, he's just so cool. Like he's just he's awesome and so kind and like artsy, and it's
just like
it's fantastic.
Cool. And he has that Melbourne accent. So
he does. Yeah, he does.
Yes. So I've actually spent a lot of time in Australia. My ex-boyfriend was Australian, so I definitely connect with that accent. So when I heard it, I was like, oh, wasn't expecting that. But just in the interviews,
turn it on and off.
Yeah. Just in the interviews with him, like he just seems like he has like that coolness, and he can hold a room in a really confident and like kind way.
Like it's effortless, but he cares so much. Like he really cares, but also comes off so like suave and like charming.
Like je ne sais quoi or something.
And that like he's so like, I'd love to like just understand his brain and yeah, it's just fascinating. He's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for Maxine too. I think that I felt bad for Maxine this season.
Me too. And Sarah just did it so like portrayed it so beautifully. I mean, everyone was like top level, like they were so mind blowing. So glad she had that episode to really show like even she always did such a great job of showing all the levels and arcs and depth of Maxine, and seeing her so vulnerable is so heartbreaking. But she did so well. Like wow, it's like no.
Yeah. No, she's yeah, the twins are definitely they are my favorite characters because I think that they're just so also complex, but just so kind. And like Maxine is just like she's just the energy I want to have all the time. Like I wish I had a Maxine in my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just before we end the show, we play this game called Creepy or Cute. And we're just gonna like rapid fire give you some little phrases or topics, and you just say creepy or cute. It doesn't have to be creepy, it's just positive or negative.
For sure, for sure.
Okay. Bungee jumping.
Great. I've done it.
Yeah.
Cute.
Cute.
Love it. Yeah.
Greek
Oh,
food.
my mom. I'm cute. I'm Greek.
Kickboxing.
Cute.
A ghost calling you weird.
Be hurtful. Very hurtful.
Finding seaweed for protein.
Oh wow.
We did a deep dive.
A very deep dive. Very cute. Very survival.
Seances.
Cute.
Cute.
Murder trials.
Creepy.
Can we just say that like I would love to be a juror on a murder trial? Like
fascinating.
Oh my God. I feel like I would go into full on like investigator mode. I probably not the right person, but I would love to do it.
Yeah. Even watching like court scenes and stuff, I'm like, whoa, this is so fascinating and precise, and so much is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reenacting a haunting.
Ooh, cute.
Digital cameras.
Definitely cute.
Hugging trees and exploring nature.
That could never be creepy. That is so cute.
So cute.
Well, that's all we have today. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on with us. Thank you for being vulnerable and sharing all of your beautiful insight. You're so inspirational. You're like such a badass actress. We're so excited to see your next projects and watch you flourish and go and all of that. So yeah, we're really excited for you. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, we will be sure to link her social media. I'm sure we don't need to because like she's iconic and we all know who she is. But thank you so much, guys, for listening, and we will see you next week.
Hey, bye.
Bye.